Hello, welcome to our Dream Team Monday Zoom. I am excited to talk to you guys today because last night on the Power Planning Zoom, something kind of came out in conversation with some people on the team when we were discussing personal development because it is now a check mark, if you will, on our MMM sheet. And it was one of the things that was missing from the bingo cards. It would show up every now and then on a Sunday, and it just said, like, spend 10 minutes reading a book. So it was really just one version of personal development, but something that we want to make sure people are maintaining is a level of personal development, because when you are in business, especially as an entrepreneur in this particular situation where you have to be the driving force, you have to be the marketing team, you have to be the hype, you're a solo entrepreneur. Obviously you have the team to support you, but it takes a lot of mindset. It takes a lot of internal work to be the best version of you. And remember, when you're the best version of you, that's when you attract the best version of other people, right? Like misery loves company. So when you're down in the dumps, you're probably attracting people who are down in the dumps. I mean, have you ever seen that in your life where, like, you're in a certain state of your life, or can you look back on your life and maybe you see where you were in a certain stage of your life and all of your friends around you were like that, and then you moved on, but some of those people didn't, but then you made new friends in the new stage of life. So that's like the personal development journey as you become better and better and better, a better version of you, not a different version of you, not a copycat version of someone else, but just a better version of you. That's when doors open in your life. And so when we were discussing personal development last night, the only things that were really brought up were like a podcast or audiobook or a book, like, right, reading material or devotionals. And I want to make sure that everyone understands personal development means to take something about you as a human and develop it even deeper. So one of the examples I gave last night was, if you as a human want to become better at making reels, you have to develop that skill, right? If you as a human want to have a better mindset, you have to develop that skill. If you as a human want a better body, you have to develop some skills. So I'm going to go over 25. I got a lot of them here for you. 25 ways to incorporate self-development into your life, because I don't want all of us just assuming that we listen to a podcast so we've done our personal development, right? Like, I've listened to some podcasts before and I truly get something out of it. And then I've also listened to podcasts before. I was like, well, that was good. Pass the time while I was on my walk. Okay. I didn't really get anything out of it. So there's lots of ways to develop. So number one is books. Obviously, we've just covered that. So anything like, it could be like self-help book. It could be like a technical book. So for example, if you, like, I'm trying to think of some of the books, like, maybe there's like a book about mindset where there's a lot of like the more psychological realm, the big picture thinking of like motivation and mindset. That's a version of a book. Then there's also, say, a book, maybe you're not in the best relationship with your husband or your best friend or your parents. Like, maybe you have something, and there are books about relationships. So just because we say a book, we're not always talking mindset, right? There's lots of things that you can learn in books, including accounting, tax, graphic design, right? There's lots and lots of books out there that you could be using to become a better version of you. Mindful meditation. This is one I struggle with. This is just like setting aside like 10 minutes a day in quiet to center yourself. Like, I got, kid most likely to get in trouble for talking at school because I was always talking. So 10 minutes of silence is a lot. And even when I have 10 minutes, sometimes I fill it with like an audiobook or something else. But actually, like, spending 10 minutes alone to quiet the chaos, to center yourself, is really, really important. Daily journaling. That is another version of self-development. Sometimes you just need to dump your thoughts on paper, whether it's a negative thought you need to get rid of, whether it's an idea you have that you want to remember. Maybe it's just working through a relationship or a conversation, or maybe you're making goals or plans. Anytime you can dump into a journal, that is a version of becoming a better version of you. Learning a new skill. And this is the one that I was kind of talking about last night. Like, a lot of times I will hear from people, oh, I'm not good at closing a sale, or, oh, I'm not good at coming up with content for Facebook, or, oh, I'm not good at blah, blah, blah. Well, if you can say, oh, I'm not good at, I can guarantee there's a YouTube, there's a book, there's something out there that you can learn, a skill and then practice that skill. And like Sam said, and then take what you've learned and shared it with us. Yes, absolutely. And again, remember, we have that post once a week where we want to know, what are you doing for your self-development? Like, share it with us. Like, maybe somebody needs an idea of a skill you're working on, or maybe you've found a new app to do your meditations with, or something like that. Listening to podcasts, obviously you can do those for lots of different things. Business podcast, mindset podcast. Maybe you are a high achiever and you just go, 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 and you can find a podcast that is like true crime or humor, something to lighten your load during the day, something to give you a break from working all the time. Attending workshops and seminars or webinars. So I know a lot of people hopped on the Bob Heilig free How to Grow Your Customer Group webinar. I know last summer I participated in a 5-day webinar with Jesse Lee. Those were business webinars, but you guys, you can also do like, I have a girlfriend, she sews. She's all the time hopping on these webinars where they're teaching sewing skills. Maybe public speaking isn't your jam. I can guarantee there's a webinar or a seminar or something like that somewhere, right? There's lots of different like women in business, women in leadership, all kinds of things that you could be diving into to, again, become better with yourself, a better version. Exercise. A lot of people don't think about that when it says personal development, but exercise, moving your body, that is developing a better version of you, right? It could be stronger. You could be healthier. You could be leaner. There are so many things that will come out of exercising. Maybe you set a goal for, you want to get, we're all made of organs. Maybe you want your heart and lungs to be stronger. And so you start pushing yourself on your cardio a little bit more. Or maybe you want to physically be stronger. Any version of exercise is really good. It's also, as Sam says, proven to help reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, which in turn helps with your mindset. Time management planning. So using tools like your planner or apps to organize your time. And I know some people are like, well, that's not personal development, but it is. If you are always chasing a deadline, if you're always behind the 8 ball, if you are not getting stuff done, if you're feeling overwhelmed, spending time planning your day makes a better version of you. Preparing your calendar ahead of time, making your commitments to yourself ahead of time, that makes you a better version of you. So that is personal development. Networking within within your organization, whether it's a hobby, like when I'm in the garden club, I'm somehow accidentally talking to ChatGPT here. Hang on. I just gave him an okay accidentally. I don't know what I voted on a poll of some sort. Anyway, so it could be like networking with other network marketers. So maybe you go to a Thrive Local, even if it's not your team's local, like check the cloud. You guys, they tell us when there's in-person events and when they're near us. You could go and introduce yourself to other network marketers. You could join an organization, a marketing organization. What is it? SB or BS? I forget what it is. Anyway, like business something. I wish I could think what it is. Anyway, they're all around here, which literally just maybe it's NIB, networking in business, but it's just where they meet like once a month for coffee or breakfast or whatever, and you just literally pass out your business cards and you meet people in your area. Any kind of networking you can do, that is working on yourself, right? Maybe when you're at that network, don't go in with I'm here to find my new thriver. No, go in, I'm here to meet people. I'm here to see what other doors could open. You may not meet your next thriver, but you may meet someone who introduces you to your next 10 thrivers, right? So networking is part of developing who you are. Public speaking practice. I mentioned this one specifically earlier when we were talking about learning a new skill, but there are a lot of people who I know struggle to stand up at a local and tell their story. Maybe they struggle to get on Facebook just by themselves and share their story. Like maybe they're good at interviewing people, which is a skill, by the way, but maybe they haven't actually taken the of getting up in front of a group of people. So you can do online classes. You can just literally practice, like stand up in your house by yourself in front of your mirror and practice. Volunteering, that is a great way to have personal development. Anytime you can volunteer and humble yourself in service, whether it's through a church, through an organization with your city or your town, like a food bank. I know we have a homeless shelter here where the garden club that I'm a part of, we actually volunteered our time to set up all their raised beds, which is the food that they're growing to help feed themselves. Anytime you can do something like that, that is personal development. Like, was planting for me Personal development, no, because that's a skill I already have. But was humbling myself to remind myself that something as simple as one tomato plant could help a family feed itself when I live in this house with electricity and AC, right? Like humbling myself in service, that made me a better human in that moment. Um, Goal setting. You guys, anytime you spend time setting your goals, when you sit down and you spend time thinking about your goals, walking through your goals, whether you're journaling it, whether you're vision boarding it, whether you're just meditating over it, that is personal development. Like my favorite phrase is, you know, everyone's like your vibe attracts your tribe, like your frequency, that like what level you're vibrating at. Well, your frequency is what you frequently see. So if you're meditating or looking at your goals and you're frequently seeing that goal, you're bringing that into your life, right? One in one shape or another. Self-care rituals. Have you ever gone through a period of time where you're like, man, I keep forgetting to wash my face before bed, or I keep forgetting to put lotion on my legs in the morning, or oh my gosh, I've needed these toenails clipped and painted for 3 weeks now, right? It may seem weird, self-care may seem like a weird personal development thing, but how much better do you feel after you get those toes clipped and painted, right? Your shoulders go back, your head, like you're, yes, bring on the sandals, right? You just feel differently about yourself, and that's developing a better version of you. So don't look at self-care rituals as selfish. Like it's literally self-care. When kids are little and we're teaching them to brush their teeth, we're teaching them to wipe after going to the bathroom and like washing their hands. Like we're teaching basic self-care. And while you've got basic self-care probably nailed down, what kind of self-care are you missing now that you are a busy mom or, working full-time, that kind of stuff? Budgeting. You guys, your financial health directly affects your mental health. If you are stressed about money, trust me, your body feels it, your body knows it, right? You'll have weird dreams, you'll clench your jaw at night, your shoulders will be up to your ears. Like your financial health affects your physical health. So if you can spend some time going over your checkbook each week, or in my case, I call it Money Monday. Every Monday on Money Monday, I go through our QuickBooks and I upload all of our transactions and I categorize everything. A, because it helps me keep a handle on things, and B, because it's the only way I can stay ahead of the game for tax season, right? So that just takes some stress off of me. But any kind of budgeting you can do, that is so important for personal development, especially if, let's take the other realm of that, when it comes to budgeting, where you've set these goals and you want to see them to fruition, but in the back of your mind, you're like, but I never have enough money. How am I ever going to make this happen? Well, maybe you can start budgeting. How can I start putting away $5 extra a week? How can I cut $20 off of my weekly bill? Any time dedicated to something like that, that is personal development. Learning a new language. But this one makes me laugh because I have wanted to learn Spanish for so many years because I love going to Mexico. But I'll be honest, I still suck at the English language. I should be taking English classes still to this very day. But something like that, like learning a new language, or I think of Sandra Delbeck, she wanted to learn how to weld. I think of all the girls right now that are learning how to make sourdough bread, right? Like there's always a new skill that you could be learning how to do. Like I'm looking at Samantha on here. She's a skilled hairdresser, but I bet there's some online courses that she could always take to brush up on her skills, right? It's called continuing ed. Just because we are adults and we're not in school anymore, and maybe we're full-time thrivers, you guys, continuing ed is a really important thing. Mind mapping. This is where you organize your thoughts and ideas in a creative way. So this is spending the time where maybe you've taken your journal and you turn it into a vision board, or maybe you do the circle life map and you think through some of your goals. But it's just a matter of being a little bit more creative with the plans or the thoughts you've had. Maybe some of that time you spent budgeting, you actually put down, maybe you actually make the envelopes that you're going to have for spending and for savings. Or maybe you actually draw up the budget itself, but taking time to map out what your mind has been doing, that's also personal development. Taking online courses. So again, what's that? Masterclass.com. You can learn anything, masterclass.com. Martha Stewart has an entire business curriculum on there that she teaches that I'm so tempted to sign up for. I want to learn a little bit more about it and see what the time commitment is. But you can be learning from these masters of art, business, language, you name it, it's on there. There is some sort of, it's like skill source, masterclass, something like that. Lots of different things. Positive affirmations. We've talked about these a gazillion times. I ams are very powerful. The words you say and the words you think will direct your day today. And I know this is one that most people know, but I want to make sure we include it. This is a version of self-development. Building a vision board. Again, one I know that we know and we talk about a lot, but do you actually have the vision board? Do you have it on your phone screen? Is it maybe your screensaver on the computer? Is it hanging on a wall? Do you have it printed in your pocketbook? Like, do you know how great a vision board is, or are you actually living with the vision board? Because I can tell you there have been times in my life where I have a vision board and shit starts happening. And then there have been times in my life where I know what I want to put on the vision board, but I haven't taken the time to print it and put it and do it on there, and things aren't happening. It makes a very big difference. Practicing gratitude. So writing down 3 things every day that you're grateful for. That's a very quick, simple, and again, humbling yourself, reminding yourself of how blessed you actually are. That's personal development. Sometimes when we get wrapped up in our ego and we get wrapped up in our goals of what we want, we start to lose track of how far we've come. And when you practice gratitude, that can help center you again to remind you that while, yes, maybe I haven't reached this goal that I want, I have reached a lot and I am capable of reaching goals, which means then your mind's like, oh yeah, we can reach something new. Here's a tough one, but it is, man, it is so good. Setting boundaries, learning to say no to protect your personal time, whether that be blocking people on social media or unfollowing people on social media. Maybe it could even be something as far as having a conversation with somebody that you don't really want to have. It could be, sometimes for me, while setting boundaries with other people is tricky, I find setting boundaries with myself is one of the hardest. So like, let's say that you set the goal, you're going to move your body in some way, shape, or form 5 days a week. You've set the boundary with yourself that you're allowed to have 2 off days. And maybe you're not even saying what those 2 days are, but you know when those 2 days have been taken, it's time to get back on track, right? Like that's a personal boundary. Maybe you're like, man, I've got to get to bed earlier. I am setting my boundary. I'm going to be in bed. I'm going to have my pajamas on, my face washed, my teeth brushed, and I'm going to be in the bed by 10 p.m. Now, maybe you won't fall asleep right away, but you'll at least be in the bed, right? Versus the girl who's like, oh crap, it's midnight. I got to get to bed, right? Again, it's a personal boundary that you've set with yourself to improve your life, to make yourself a better. There's so many things that we know, oh, when I do that, I'm not my best, but then we don't make ourselves do what we know makes us the best. Like people ask me, oh, do you love getting up every morning and going for your walk? When the alarm goes off, no. In that moment, no, I'm not happy about it. I'm like, I'm human. I'm like everyone else. Can I stay under the covers for a little bit longer? But once I get up and do it, I know that I feel so much better. And then, yes, I'm very happy to be out there at that point. But it's setting that boundary with yourself to keep yourself in line, as well as keep relationships that you have with other people in line. It could be even setting a boundary with your spouse. I mean, Tom knows if it's past 9 o'clock and he wants to watch TV, that's cool, but he has to like turn it down. Like there's other people in the house that are trying to wind down. So that's just setting a boundary within a relationship. Number two, I'm sorry, 22. We're almost there, you guys. Number 22, any kind of minimalism that you can add to your life is a form of personal development. So decluttering your space, whether it's your office, whether it's your house, whether it's your mind. You know, you can declutter your mind through meditation. If you've got a lot of stuff going on, you can get quiet, but any kind of decluttering that you can do. And I just always remind myself that when I do open up space, like whether like physically or mentally, if I open up that space, that just makes room for something new and great to come in. Like I have seen people hold on to the pod. Yeah, Sandra's got to get that pod emptied out. I've seen people hold on to say, I don't know, like let's just say they're like, well, I really I don't like the way my bedroom looks, but I don't know, my bedding's old, but stuff is so expensive right now. And they just hang on to their old bedding and hang on to their old bedding. They don't like it. It drives them nuts. They look at it. It brings them no joy. But if they would just get rid of that bedding and maybe just sleep with some sheets for a few days, I promise they'll find the comforter of their dreams on sale somewhere, because they actually opened up the space for that. So remember, if you're feeling cluttered or you're feeling overwhelmed, get rid of some things. And sometimes it's just even getting it out of sight, right? Like maybe you don't need to get rid of grandma's whatever that you were given, but it doesn't need to sit out. It doesn't need to take up space all the time, right? It can be tucked away. Number two, anytime you can learn from a mentor, that can go back to, like obviously people writing books or any of those online classes, those can be mentors to you, but this is the version of actually reaching out to someone. And it doesn't have to be someone outside of Le-Vel could be your most powerful mentor for your business, right? Like somebody who's not in the middle of all the promos and all the ranks and all that stuff, and they're just looking at your business from the outside. They could be a powerful resource for you and your business. So look to people in your life that have some business experience and talk to them, spend time with them, take them out to lunch, like pick their brains, like have a mentor. Creative writing, this kind of goes back to journaling, but at the same time, this is just creative, right? So instead of like sitting down with your journal specifically to be grateful or specifically to do budgeting or to do plans, this is just creative writing. Maybe you just want to share a story. Maybe you just want to doodle for a little bit, right? Like just being creative can help release some endorphins, take some stress away for a little bit, and also be a version of um, personal development. And the last one, last but not least, this is actually probably one of my favorites. And this is coming from a girl who, when she was little, would go days without sleep. Right? I should have been on Ritalin. I never was. Thank you, mom. But I remember going days without sleep. However, almost 50, sleep, you guys, sleep optimization, prioritizing, your sleep so that you can have a better night. So things like getting off your phone at a certain time of night, things like, and I've had to make the switch. I could sit on my phone and I could scroll for freaking hours at night with like, I get to the point where I got one eye open. But if I don't get on the phone and instead I open a book with pages after a chapter or two, I'm like, oh, I got to go to bed. And I go to bed. I sleep so much better, right? I and again, this is just me. You got to do what works for you. But I try to have a chill an hour or two before bed to try to start bringing myself down a little bit, right? You could do rest gel or gummies if you like really need the help getting knocked out. Um, Treat yourself to a new pair of PJs. Like make going to bed a very special event because it is. You spend a lot of time in your bed and you should be getting rest. And if you can get in the good routine of making sleep a priority, then the hours that you are awake are so much better. It's why we thrive, right? We want to feel good while we're awake. And Thrive can help us sleep better, but you can also help yourself sleep better. Maybe you have a humidifier or what are those things called where the oils that makes it smell good? A diffuser. Maybe you have a diffuser that you start at a certain hour to kind of help calm. Maybe you turn all the overhead lights off at a certain time and you just have a lamp on. Like any little thing you can do to get yourself to have the best sleep or the best rest, that's definite personal development. So I know that was 25. I know it was a lot of things I listed and I did it in a very, very quickly. I did 25 things in 25 minutes, but I just wanted to help open up your eyes that in this business, we want you to be the best version of you. I think it was Samantha that said, we've given you the tasks. You've had the bingo cards. You've got the check. You know what tasks are being asked to run this business. But if you're not keeping track of who you are as a human and becoming a better version of you every day, you're just like a little worker bee. I don't want worker bees. I want people who have their chin up, their shoulders back. I want them to be I want them to feel powerful and strong in their own skin and know that they're running a business that is changing their lives as well as others. I don't want them to be a person who's like, well, I got on this Zoom today and I did this reel today and I made a post about this today. Like that's great and good, but who are you as a human that's doing these things? And you guys, I can promise if you start focusing on some of those 25 things that I just listed, you will never, ever, ever run out of stuff to talk about in your stories. You won't run out of things to post about. You will not have trouble coming up with reels because you are spending all that time working on becoming a better you. You will get ideas. You will end up sharing some of what you're doing. I go back to, I think it was March when I decluttered my house every single day for 31 days. You guys, I had a reel every day for 31 days. It was the easiest thing I ever did. And that shared my home with people, that shared my attitude about stuff with people. It shared my frustration with consumerism with people. That just me working on myself in that month, but then that became content for me to share. That created a lot of genuine relationships with people. It started a lot of conversations. So again, while at the end of the day, it probably turned into a few customers for me, it turned into my house being decluttered and feeling amazing. So I developed as a better person in the process. So I will put when I put this video up on YouTube and I share it into the team page, I will put the list of 25 things. You guys can have it because I know you're going to ask for it. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this gives you way more than you probably needed to chew on. But I want you to remember, you have to take responsibility for yourself at becoming better at all the things. So if there's anything in your life where you're like, man, I just can't get to bed on time. Man, I just can never get my butt out of bed on time. Man, I just can't seem to get these messages done. I just cannot seem to get these reels done. No one's going to help you but you, right? We'll support you. We'll cheer you on. We'll teach you what we know when we can, but you have to do the work to develop into the version of you that says things like, I get to bed on time. I feel great when I wake up in the morning. I'm having a great time making content, right? And that's all going to come from your personal development. So with that, I'm going to zip it. There is a Lunch and Grow, I'm pretty sure. I didn't look for the graphic, but it's probably out there, and a corporate call at 1. So see you guys later. Bye.